It's Monday, March 14th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, bringing you the latest local news, including an update on the hunt for the man who kidnapped his son on Saturday after attacking his wife, and a Greenwich officer rescuing 2 infants from the water, and much more local news. Rob Adams will have the latest forecast and a sports update later in the show, and Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. But first, a father who abducted his son in Trumbull on Saturday remains at large, though the child is home safely. After an Amber Alert was issued and a 12-hour search ensued on Saturday, 7-year-old Ariel Ravello was found safe in Queens around 5 in the evening. A warrant has been issued for his father, Rodolfo Ravello, a convicted cocaine seller, for charges of kidnapping, strangulation, assault, and larceny, along with criminal violation of a restraining order, among other charges, according to Lieutenant Leonard Cinto of the Trumbull Police. On Saturday evening, police said that Rodolfo Ravello called Trumbull Police and told them he was leaving his son with a relative. Ravello, who's 43 years old, was not located and his whereabouts are unknown. Police said that Ravello forcibly entered his wife's home on Unity Road around 4:30 in the morning on Saturday and assaulted her before snatching his 7-year-old son. According to a report, Ravello went to retrieve a knife from the kitchen during the break-in, but was disarmed by his 17-year-old stepson. During that time period, the wife was able to escape by jumping out of her bedroom window and hiding in the yard. Lieutenant Cinto said that Ravello took several thousands of dollars of cash and jewelry from the victim's room before waking Ariel and fleeing the residence in a 2015 white Ford Transit cargo van with a license plate of C040379. The victim was transported to the hospital and was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. For updates on that story, follow TrumbullTimes.com. And state police, assisted by the Fairfield Police Narcotics detecting dog, seized more than $250,000 worth of cocaine after a traffic stop on I-95 in Milford on Saturday. Shortly after 8:45 in the morning on Saturday, Trooper First Class Frederick Jones stopped a vehicle bearing New York license plates for speeding on I-95 North near exit 35. According to a release from state police, Jones detected several things that led him to suspect that narcotics trafficking was happening in the car. Jones reportedly received consent to search the vehicle from the driver and lone occupant, 46-year-old Ruben Abro of New York City. Fairfield police officer Kevin Wells and his canine partner Jagger responded to a request for assistance from state police. Jagger indicated that he sensed drugs, and police said they found a case containing 4 vacuum-sealed bricks of suspected cocaine. The estimated value of the 8.7 pounds of cocaine is more than $250,000. Abro was arrested and held in lieu of a $300,000 bond, but state police did not announce what charges he faced. He is due in court today, March 14th. And a New York woman who ran over an officer's foot tried to hit another officer and crashed into police cars before being arrested last Friday. On March 11th at about 12:30 in the morning, an officer on patrol in New Canaan observed a vehicle stopped with its hazard lights flashing, partially obstructing the northbound lane of Owen-Oak Ridge. The officer made contact with the operator, who was identified as 52-year-old Donna Barisha of Audubon Road in South Salem, New York. After speaking briefly with her, Barisha, and obtaining her driver's license, she drove away from the officers, engaging them in pursuit. During the pursuit, Barisha forcibly crashed into 2 New Canaan police cars. At several points in the pursuit, officers were able to get her vehicle to stop, and attempts to remove her from the car were made. During those attempts, she ran over an officer's foot and caused injury to that officer's shoulder. The officer was later treated and released from Norwalk Hospital, and in another attempt to remove Barisha, she drove directly at an officer, causing him to jump behind his police car for protection. The pursuit finally concluded in New York State on Audubon Road in South Salem with the assistance of New York State Police. Based on her actions, she was charged with 3 counts of assault on a police officer, as well as conspiracy to attempt assault on a police officer. But you can get more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. An off-duty Greenwich police officer dove into the water and rescued 2 infants after their stroller tipped and slid down a bank at Greenwich Point Park on Friday, March 11th. A Stamford resident walking at the park with 2 children in a double stroller and her dog stopped to talk to a friend around 4 in the afternoon. The stroller, placed on uneven ground, tipped and slid down an embankment on the Eagle Pond Causeway. Police said the stroller slid 7 feet before it struck a large rock, knocking the 2 baby carriers from the lower wheeled portion of the stroller. The children went in opposite directions and into the water. And Officer Thomas Eustace, who was off duty and outside on the spring-like day, immediately dove into the water and rescued the 13-month-old child and the 6-week-old infant, while the mother scrambled down the embankment. 3 other civilian bystanders arrived almost immediately and assisted the mother and children. The mother and her 2 children were transported to Stamford Hospital emergency room as a precautionary measure, but all 3 were unharmed and have since gone home. The parents of the children would like to keep their identities anonymous, according to Greenwich Police, but they did want to thank everyone for helping, and they told police that Officer Eustace was tremendous. And in some other good news, Good Samaritans and first responders helped save a bicyclist in distress last Wednesday, March 9th. The Fairfield Fire Department released information on the incident on Sunday. Calls to 911 reported that a bicyclist down on the side of Black Rock Turnpike near North Street around 12:15 in the afternoon. The cyclist, described by callers as a man in his 50s, appeared to be experiencing medical difficulty. Fairfield Fire and police units and AMR were dispatched to the scene. According to the report filed by Fairfield Fire Lieutenant Jay Swindon, upon arrival of Engine 5, Christine Finnery, an off-duty nurse, Michael Labella, and Chris Arnold were already performing CPR for the patient, who had no pulse at the time. Firefighters took over patient care and continued CPR and applied an automatic external defibrillator, carried on the fire truck to the victim. Following the delivery of several shocks, the patient began to breathe again and responded to verbal instruction. But there's much more on that story at fairfield-sun.com. And finally, water temperatures were 39 degrees Sunday when this year's participants in the annual Leprechaun Leap in Milford dove into Long Island Sound to raise money for the Literacy Volunteers of Southern Connecticut, formerly known as the Literacy Center of Milford. But check out this video from Jill Dion.
I got 10 seconds. All right. Get ready. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Milford Mirror reports that while most participants ran in and out quickly, Greg Kohut, who said he made the leap on behalf of his wife, who works at Milford Bank, and Michael Jackson of Orchard Orthopedic Solutions in Milford, battled it out to see who could stay in the longest. After several minutes, with neither looking ready to step out onto the sand, a leap official called the contest a tie. But I'm going to throw it over to Rob Adams right now for a look at the forecast. I don't think it's good weather for jumping in any water today.
It's not, and boy, I give him credit, but wow. Oof, I don't think it's, gosh, too cold. I'm cold just thinking about it. All right, periods of rain today, Kate, and it does look as such. Patchy fog after right about now. Temperatures falling to 39. The overnight temperature was our high. We were in the 40s overnight, now heading down to 39. The wind out of the east from 11 to 14, it's a 100% chance of precipitation. Tonight, periods of rain mainly before 3 tomorrow morning, then drizzle or light rain likely after that. Areas of fog and steady temperatures around 41, with the wind out of the northeast from 13 to 15 miles per hour. For Tuesday, a chance of drizzle or light rain mainly before noon and areas of fog before 3, otherwise mostly cloudy, high near 51. Tuesday night, mostly cloudy, low around 41 with the wind out of the north and light. Wednesday, slight chance of showers after 3, partly sunny and 59, getting back up there. 41 is the low, under a chance of showers for Wednesday night. Chance of showers after 11 Thursday morning, 57 for your high, 53 on Friday, 49 on Saturday, and 51 on Sunday. It's kind of so-so, but seasonal, let's be honest. Not the worst forecast in the world, at least from my perspective. It could be snow, so there you go. New Canaan, you have 41. Westport, 42. And right here in Shelton, 41 degrees. And yeah, a little bit of light rain falling outside. Not the best day today, but gotta have some rain sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. All right, thanks so much, Rob. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Donald Dang takes a look back on this day in history. Rob has a sports update, and we have some more headlines coming up after this.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Chop off your knives to be sharpened. Grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, snowboard, or sports accident, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on Facebook at Coastal Ortho CT.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher.
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
And we're back on this Monday edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. It's time to throw it over to Donald Dang's look back on this day in history. Check it out.
The day motoring became accessible to the masses. But first we go back to 1592, the ultimate pi day, the largest correspondence between the calendar date and the significant digits of pi since the introduction of the Julian calendar. That record will stand for quite a while. It will be broken, though, on March 14th, 15,926. You may go out and celebrate by doing something irrational. 1922, John Mack, who co-founded one of North America's largest makers of heavy trucks, is killed when his car collides with a trolley in Pennsylvania. To 1950 on this day, the Federal Bureau of Investigation institutes the 10 most wanted fugitives list in an effort to publicize particularly dangerous fugitives. The creation of the program arose out of a wire service news story in 1949 about the toughest guys the FBI wanted to capture. As of 2011, 465 of the criminals on the list have been apprehended. And finally, now we go to 1914 for this. That is Henry Ford's continuous motion method of assembling cars. The process decreased the amount of time needed to build a car from 12 and a half hours to just 93 minutes. Using interchangeable parts meant making the individual pieces of the car the same way every time, but it also meant a relatively unskilled worker could assemble a car rather than having a craftsman hand fit the pieces. That enabled Ford to make more money by building more cars but selling them cheaper. That is your daily look back in history, and I am Donald Dang.
Thanks as always to Don. It's now time to throw it back to Rob for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Rob?
All right, Kate, thank you very much. We'll start in Division I boys ice hockey, and the run for the championship is over for the FCAC champion Greenwich Cardinals. The Cardinals were upended in overtime by Hamden 3-2 on Saturday at the Webster Bank Arena. The Green Dragons will play Fairfield Prep Wednesday night at David Ingalls Rink in New Haven. At the Edward L. Bennett Rink, Justin Blanchette's power play goal was the difference as the Jesuits beat top-seeded Xavier 1-0. The Darien Blue Wave have punched their ticket to the Whale with a convincing 6-0 win over St. Joseph at the Bennett Rink. Jay Dixon, Eddie Glassmeyer, Sam Knowlton, Max DeBerardinis all scored once. Herbie Hazelton scored twice to back 28 saves from David Voigt. They will play Notre Dame of West Haven as they knocked off Notre Dame of Fairfield 6-2. From Friday, West Hill Stamford beat Hall Southington 5-2 to advance to the D3 semis in New Haven. Staples West and Shelton is also going to the Whale. They beat Lyman Hall, Haddam Killingworth, Coggenshaw 5-3. In girls basketball, it's an all-FCAC final. Abby Wolf had 19 points to lead 3 Cardinals in double figures. They get a 69-60 win over E.O. Smith. The 10th-seeded Cardinals will play number 4 Stamford. The Black Knights got 25 from Tiana, England, as they beat South Windsor 66-57. Notre Dame of Fairfield will play Cromwell in the Class M final. The Lancers beat Enfield 60-55. We look at the schedule now, and in Class LL boys basketball in the quarterfinals, it's number 22 Ridgefield taking on number 3 Hillhouse. That's over at the Floyd Little Athletic Center. That's 7 o'clock tonight. Crosby goes to number 1 Fairfield Prep. Crosby, the 8th seed, 8-1 matchup there. Number 12, Simsbury, plays everyone's favorite, the Weaver Beavers. That's at Bulkley. And Wilbur Cross and Danbury will play tomorrow. So 3 of the 4 quarterfinals in Double L are tonight. Just that Danbury-Wilbur Cross game is tomorrow. From Class M, Northwest Catholic is in action tonight, as well as Bacon Academy taking on Bloomfield. Notre Dame of Fairfield is at Cromwell, and Grammy Memorial is at Sacred Heart. From girls basketball, the Class L semifinals, Capital Prep and New Fairfield get together. It's New London hosting Bacon Academy. In Class S, Canton takes on Bolton, Colby Cathedral going up against Thomaston. And from Division III boys ice hockey, the semifinals get underway at Ingalls Rink. Such a great week of hockey. 2 games tonight, 2 games tomorrow, 2 games Wednesday before you get to the finals Friday and Saturday. If you love high school ice hockey, and it's great stuff here in Connecticut, just go pin yourself to a seat at Ingalls Rink. You will not go wrong. Number 2 Fairfield, the co-op, takes on number 3 Guilford. That's the 5:30 game, and the 7:30 game features number 12 East Haven against number 1 North Branford. So great hockey all throughout the week at Ingalls Rink. Plus you've got Notre Dame of Fairfield going up for a state championship over the weekend at Mohegan Sun, and now that Greenwich Stamford all FCAC Class LL girls final, which to my knowledge, and there's still some confusion about it, Kate, but the word is there's a banner that hangs at Stamford High that says the last time the girls won a state championship in basketball at Stamford was 1926. Of course, the CIAC didn't exist in 1926. So I don't know where they're getting that from, but either way, pretty cool. So it'll make for a lot of fun this weekend up at Mohegan Sun with sports. I'm Rob Adams. Kate, back to you.
Very cool. Thanks so much, Rob. Well, getting back to a little more news today. During the March 7th Darien Board of Selectmen meeting, First Selectman Jamie Stevenson announced that McGrath Consulting has returned a draft of their study of Darien's EMS system. McGrath is expected to present its findings at their next meeting on March 21st. The study was commissioned in October of last year to examine Darien's need for paramedics and establish best practices for the town's EMS providers. Another consultant, the Holdsworth Group, was hired to complete the same task in early 2015, but chose to opt out. Founder Bob Holdsworth said the group withdrew due to an inability to give a definitive answer to the paramedic question. Post 53 volunteers currently serve as Darien's primary medical responders, though paramedics are also dispatched from Stamford when when needed. Darien's emergency medical services are provided by the Darien Police, 3 volunteer fire departments, and Post 53. Post 53 uses a volunteer staff of certified high school students and adult advisors to provide the medical services. In addition, Connecticut Emergency Medical Dispatch receives 911 calls and determines whether the emergency calls for paramedic intervention. But there's a lot more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And in Milford, it will now cost out-of-towners $15 to park at Walnut and Gulf beaches during the beach season instead of the $5 that had been charged for many years. Milford's Board of Aldermen voted at this month's board meeting to raise the fee to put Milford more in line with other beach communities. The city's Park, Beach, and Recreation Department looked at other towns like Stratford and Fairfield. Mayor Ben Blake said that Milford charges far and away the lowest fees. Fairfield and Stratford, for example, charge $20, while West Haven, which charges $10, is looking to increase its fee. City leaders also want to be sure that if the state starts charging for parking at Silver Sand State Park, Milford's public beaches are not overwhelmed because of the cost to park at them is less. The state has projected charging about $9 during the week for state residents and $13 on weekends when improvements are completed at Silver Sand State Park. Blake said the parking fee at Walnut and Gulf beaches will help pay for resources that go into maintaining those beaches as well as the restrooms. And Fairfield County's Giving Day on March 10th exceeded all expectations, according to officials. In just 24 hours, thousands of community members joined together to give nearly $1,250,000 in support of 410 local nonprofits that serve Fairfield County. Initiated in 2014 by Fairfield County's Community Foundation with lead sponsor Bank of America, Giving Day is a 24-hour period when everyone in Fairfield County is encouraged to give where you live by going to fcgives.org and donating to participating local nonprofit organizations. As the region's biggest philanthropic event, community-wide events, nonprofit performances, and a groundswell of support led to widespread buzz and excitement this year. The enthusiasm led to a 17% increase in giving over last year. So some good news there. But we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today on your coffee break after this.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. The construction is incredible, whether it's the floors, the fireplace, the moldings, the lighting. It's as peaceful as my home was in the middle of the woods. It feels like a house. It does not feel like a condo or a townhome. I feel like I'm in my house.
Are you hoping winter is finally in our rearview mirror? Can't wait for the air and water temperatures to start rising? Well, if the answer is yes, you need to get over to Darien or Westport and stop by the Dock Shop, where it's always summer. Both shops are being stocked with lots of new merchandise, including fishing tackle, marine electronics, boating supplies, and more. But remember, the Dock Shop isn't your average tackle shop. At the Dock Shop, you'll also find the finest selection of nautical apparel, jewelry, home decor, and gifts in New England. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Online at dockshop.com.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthe-game.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure every Thursday at 2 on the HAN Network.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office. I'm John.
We're back on this Monday, March 14th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today, including that a father who abducted his son in Trumbull on Saturday remains at large, though the child is home safely. After an Amber Alert was issued and a 12-hour search ensued on Saturday, 7-year-old Ariel Ravello was found safe in Queens around 5 in the evening. A warrant has now been issued for his father, Rodolfo Ravello, a convicted cocaine seller, for charges of kidnapping, strangulation, assault, and larceny, along with criminal violation of a restraining order, among other charges. Saturday evening, police said that Rodolfo Ravello called Trumbull police and told them he was leaving his son with a relative. Ravello, who's 43 years old, was not located and his whereabouts are unknown. Police said that Ravello forcibly entered his wife's home on Unity Road in Trumbull around 4:30 in the morning on Saturday and assaulted her before snatching the 7-year-old son. According to a report, Ravello went to retrieve a knife from the kitchen during the break-in, but was disarmed by his 17-year-old stepson. During that time period, the wife was able to escape by jumping out of her bedroom window and hiding in the yard. Police say that Ravello took several thousands of dollars in cash and jewelry from the victim's room before waking Ariel and fleeing the residence. The woman was transported to the hospital and treated for non-life-threatening injuries. And state police, assisted by the Fairfield Police narcotics detecting dog, seized more than $250,000 worth of cocaine after a traffic stop on I-95 in Milford on Saturday. Shortly after 8:45 in the morning, Trooper First Class Frederick Jones stopped a vehicle with New York license plates for speeding on I-95 North at exit 35. Jones reportedly received consent to search the vehicle from the driver and the lone occupant, 46-year-old Ruben Abro of New York City. Fairfield police officer Kevin Wells and his canine partner Jagger responded to a request for assistance from state police. Jagger indicated that he sensed drugs, and police said they found a case containing 4 vacuum-sealed bricks of suspected cocaine. The estimated value of the 8.7 pounds of cocaine is more than $250,000. Abro was arrested and held in lieu of a $300,000 bond. He's scheduled to appear in court today. And an off-duty Greenwich police officer dove into the water and rescued 2 infants after their stroller tipped and slid down an embankment at Greenwich Point Park on Friday. A Stamford resident walking at the park with 2 children in a double stroller and her dog had stopped to talk to a friend at about 4 in the afternoon. The stroller, placed on uneven ground, tipped and slid down an embankment on the Eagle Pond Causeway. Police said the stroller slid 7 feet before it struck a large rock, knocking the 2 baby carriers from the lower wheeled portion of the stroller. The children went in opposite directions and into the water, according to police. But Officer Thomas Hustis, who was off duty and outside on the spring-like day, immediately dove into the water and rescued the 13-month-old child and the 6-week-old infant while the mother scrambled down the embankment. 3 other civilian bystanders also arrived immediately and assisted the mother and children. They were taken to the hospital, but police say no one was harmed and all were able to return home. So some good news there to end the show before we throw it to Rob for one final forecast. Rob?
I'm sorry, Kate. I'm going through the brackets here. I'm looking at Green Bay as a Final Four. Who knew Aaron Rodgers was a point guard? I'm sure they can handle it. All right, forget that. Let's get over to the forecast. Got to do the brackets. Periods of rain, patchy fog after 11. Temperatures falling to around 39 by 2 this afternoon. Wind will be out of the east from 11 to 14, 13 to 15 for a northeast wind tonight. So a little gusty. Keep that in mind. Periods of rain tonight, we're going to drop down to 41. So really, we're going to go back up up, I should say, because we hit the high overnight. So we're getting down to 39. We're going to nose back up to 41 over the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, you'll get a mostly cloudy day with a chance of some rain, right around 50%, high 51, 41 for your low tomorrow night on a mostly cloudy night. To Wednesday, slight chance of showers after 3, partly sunny and 59. 41 is the low. Under a chance of showers, 30% though, very low on Wednesday night. Thursday, chance of more rain, 57, 53 Friday, 49 Saturday, 51 Sunday. It'll get warmer next week, we can hope. As we look around now, New Canaan, you're sitting right at 41. Westport, you have joined us at 41. And here in Shelton, it's 41 all the way around. Kate? No Nutmeg for me. Don and Mike will handle Nutmeg, but we've got the Unified Basketball Tournament at 3. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely something to check out. All right, thanks so much, Rob. That's going to do it for your coffee break. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow at 11. Have a great Monday.